call you, I need you, my heart's on fire. You come to me wild and wild.
Welcome, everybody. Today we are here live with my siblings. This is Oliver Happy Hour.
Hey.
We are back, episode 135. Dang, guys, 135?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, you guys, I am here today. Debbie Deb here in the building. And I'm here with my lovely sister.
Daisy O, always ready for the show.
And my lovely brother,
Hey.
Darren. And today's guest, we have our lovely parents, Veronica and Craig. And today's episode, we're going to touch on retirement. But we do want to acknowledge the lovely Tina Turner. That's why we are playing her song. Darren, what song is this?
This is the best, and I think stay tuned to our next episode, which should be coming up soon, and I think we're going to have more time to talk about Tina Turner in a Hot Topic segment.
Yes, so rest in heavenly peace, Tina Turner. Okay, so since we're going to talk about retirement, we have a few questions for our parents because they are recently retired. So we want to talk about the history of Social Security. SSA retirement age. What is the Social Security retirement age?
Well, I think we wanted to just talk about a brief history of Social Security, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Quick question, quick quiz. What president started Social Security?
Ronald Reagan. Oh, FDR.
Ronald Reagan, Daisy. Oh my goodness.
Ronald
Ronald Reagan. I think Ronald Reagan. I think he borrowed against Social Security a few times to pay for those wars. But
Reaganomics.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yes, FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt. It was one of the progressive era policies that he passed, when he came into office to help people just think the country was reeling in from the Great Depression, right? You had an impacted market, much like we're familiar with the recession of 09, right? Or of the collapse of 07 and 08. But just thinking about that, right? Franklin Roosevelt came in and he said, look, we need people working, right? And what's a great way to get people working than to tell some people, hey, you don't have to work anymore.
Amen.
And basically, having them clear up space in the workforce for people to, be employed, obtain jobs, many other opportunities like the Works Progress Administration, built bridges, tunnels. You had arts and culture, where you have artists who were paid to create murals and things like that. So the Social Security Administration began in 1935. So just a little brief history. And then I think, Devin, I had asked, what was the history of the ages for retirement?
Yes.
I know the original one was 55. Because for the longest time, I thought when I got 55, I was out.
But it doesn't work like that anymore.
It has steadily increased, and currently, I believe the minimum
62.
retirement age in order to collect Social Security is 62. However, if you were a federal employee, it could be 59 and a half. But
Depending on when you started
retirement,
working?
according to Social Security is 66, and I think it's going to be 67 next year.
Yeah, it's steadily increasing. But why do you guys think?
66 went up.
Right.
Why do you think it's increasing?
Yeah.
The money.
They want you to pass away before you can collect your benefits.
They want.
All right, so let's speak
no.
about what is Social Security and where does it come from? Let's even get down to the nitty gritty of that. Where does Social Security come from?
Social Security comes from wages that you have earned when you have employment that pays into the Social Security system. A portion of your income is deposited into that fund.
So it is a tax that you pay, right? A Social Security tax that is deducted from your income before you even see your check. It's taken away from your wages earned.
Yes.
From
A
the
percentage.
time that you start working, like if I'm under 18, are they collecting Social Security?
If you have a Social Security number, they should.
That's what your number's for. I got mine when I was 12 years old.
Yeah. And that is a main federal identifier that you have is your Social Security number.
Right.
Wait, so when you guys were born, you guys didn't have social security numbers?
No,
Not immediate.
I got mine when I was 12, and I wanted to work, so we had to go to my, myself and my cousin, we went and got social security card.
Oh.
But just think, Devin, when Daddy was born in 1956, sorry to age you, Dad, but Social Security had only been around for 20 years, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
in our grandparents' generation for Granddaddy and Big Mama, it was created after they were born, so they wouldn't have had a Social Security number.
They had social security.
But
It
when
just
they're born.
depended on when it started.
Right.
It started from that point, and everybody had it. Everybody had to get a number, and that's what we went off of, that number. But that year was what 46, 36,
No,
36.
1935.
35,
Yeah, when
okay.
the law passed.
35, okay. So since that time, 35, whoever was, whatever age they were, that's when they started their Social Security. But like my grandfather, your great-grandfather, he retired. He had Social Security.
So, Mommy, how old were you when you got your social security?
I believe 16, 17.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So you
So-
didn't have it initially. You had to go to the Social Security office,
Correct.
and then you received it. But we got ours when we were born.
Let me back up. I take that back. Because my father got injured. So he became eligible for Social Security disability benefits.
Okay.
So my mother had to get all of us Social Security numbers. So I believe I could have been maybe 9 or 10.
Okay.
And that was probably because for dependents that you guys had to prove a Social Security. Because look, anytime
Right,
you
that's
apply,
true.
and this is just me even talking as a social worker, right? Anytime you apply for any kind of federal or community benefit, first thing that they ask you for is, where's your social?
Social Security
Where's the
number.
evidence
Yeah,
of it?
exactly. Right.
Even in college, that's when I used it the most.
Yeah.
In college, I learned my number then.
Well, well, Mommy, when all of us were born, we automatically got a social security number,
You have to
right?
apply for it.
You have to present your
Oh.
birth certificate.
Got it.
So you got our
Oh.
Social Security numbers when we were little.
Yes. After
Oh.
your birth certificate.
You have to have evidence of birth in order to get it first. Yeah.
Birth certificate, then Social Security.
And then you need
Oh,
both of
okay.
those to get an ID.
Right.
Yes, that is
Exactly.
true.
And I remember, I don't know if I was like 10, 11, between 10 and 12, I remember you were telling us that we needed to memorize our social security
Numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smart. Because
I
I
mean,
knew numbers.
you definitely were on us about like remembering important numbers
Yeah.
and important names. I remember you would even tell us like about phone numbers, like
Back then,
remembering
you had to
phone
remember
numbers
phone
in our
numbers.
address and everything. Yes,
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
cell phone, everybody knew everybody's number.
exactly.
Automatically, you could, it's memory.
Yeah, I guess that's why I'm so good with numbers now. I remember numbers. I remember birthdays. Yeah.
Well, they say that a human being, we can remember up to like 10 numbers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why, and it just so happenstance that many numbers begin with 7 digits besides the area code, and just like our social, right? No,
But back then, when I was little, the numbers started with a letter like LU, Ledlow. They had PH, and then they give the number. So they created the 310, the 213, and all that stuff much later.
Okay, so we're gonna move it on along with some questions for our parents. So the first question: What were the messages given to you about retirement as a boomer?
Ooh. Messages from anyone in particular, or talking about our parents, or
Anybody, your
Anybody?
parents,
Yeah.
school.
What were you told about Social Security growing
Yeah.
up?
that you had to be 55 to be a senior citizen. And I honestly, I believe that. My mother retired at 55, and she lived a good long life well after that. And so that was my connection to retirement. 55, you retire. So the closer I got to 55, and it didn't look like
You were retiring?
that was going to happen, I sort of went into a little semi depression because I thought I had already worked 25 years by that time, I believe. I think my mother worked 25 years. And so my vision was that you get 55, you're young enough to have a good life, you can retire, and that's it. Well, laws change. And so you start seeing your older siblings not retiring. Why are you not retiring? Oh, the retirement age is not 55 anymore. It's so and so. And that's when I started to do my own research and find out exactly what needed to be done.
Daddy?
Well, I I never really even thought about it much because I was always I like working. I always liked working, so I never really thought about much. I know what I work. I wanted to work for myself, but I've worked for myself a while, and it didn't really work the way it should work, and so I wasn't providing myself with the ability to have a retirement. So once I got a good job, and I got a job that paid a benefit for retirement or either pension. Uh, that's what I needed, and that's how I was able to retire. But before, I mean, even a couple of years ago, a few years back, it never really crossed my mind. I just got older, and I'm 67 years old now, and thank the Lord I'm able to retire. I worked a long time. I appreciate. I can still do a lot of work. It's not like I
Don't count
just
them out.
just need to be retired. I just retired from that job. I got another
Yeah.
job to do. So but it's always really nice to have some income coming in. For you guys coming up, I hope the Social Security is still in existence. When you get my age, but it's a blessing. It's really a blessing to be able to retire and be able to wake up when you want to wake up in the morning instead of having to wake up and go to work. So it's just really really nice. I've been almost been 6 months now. I'm happy. Thank you.
But what were you guys
Awesome.
told? So I just have even further question because I think that you brought up something very important and critical. You did too as well, mommy. Is that if you don't pay into it, you're not going to get it.
No.
You have to be working. If you're not working and they're not, if you're working a job, and there's different jobs too. Like some people, if you work for the city of LA, they don't pay into Social Security because they have their own pension plan that they're paying into. But just in general, if you are working for cash, or if you're a small business owner out there, and
You're not gonna be
Yeah.
able to get this.
Yeah.
When you get old, you're just old, and you better hope you got some money saved.
Well, and that's what the purpose of the number is for tracking purposes, so that they send you a report. They'll tell you how many credits you need in order to be eligible, and they even, advise you if this is not correct, you need to notify us because this is what our records show that's associated with
Your number.
your number.
right. So
Can someone accidentally use your number? No. Well, can someone use your number and then you get paid? Like, how do they check to make sure?
There's fraud everywhere.
Right.
You have,
Right.
you have to,
Exactly.
you have to go down. And you have to go down, and like when Mom and I went down. Well, that was for the pension, but it took a while for me. You got to get online. You got to do a lot of different things in order to get the funding. You know?
Okay.
So it's fraud, but you know they'll catch it. They'll catch
Yeah.
it real quick.
Yeah.
So it's not like this has been proven over and over. People have been doing it for years. So the people that I'm a baby boomer. Mom's a baby boomer. So the baby boomers are right now starting to get retired. I guess a baby boomer is what? How many years is it? About 7, 8 years for baby boomers. So we've been getting paid now. You know, we're getting to the end of the baby boomer generation. Where I think I'm close to the end of the baby boomers. I think it's 59. I'm not sure, but I was born in 56. So everybody's going to be retired or at that age to be retired. So, I mean, it's just a good thing. Just hoping that it lasts. I mean, I hope they don't try to. They always say it's an entitlement. Well, we worked for this money.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys paid into it.
Well,
Yeah.
you have
Paid
to
into
also
it, right.
remember there are corporations and different businesses that opt not to pay into the system. So unless there is something in place, I believe there is a law that states, though, if you employ X amount of people, then automatically you're going to pay into the Social Security system.
Okay.
Oh yeah, mommy. Sorry, if you could just talk closer into the mic too. Yeah, I mean, and what I was gonna also say is that, were you guys ever told about like, hey, what if you guys get injured on the job?
Well,
They have to pull disability. Maybe you get ill and you can't work anymore. That's where Social Security can come too, right?
Yes, that's exactly what happened to our father. And we were able, as his dependents, to continue receiving benefits as long as, because it's supposed to be until you're 18, I believe. But if you stay in college, you can continue to receive the benefits based on the disability that he received.
Well, like my mom she was disabled by the time I got to college. So I got a check. I got a check from my mama's Social Security, and it was like a blessing because I mean, I didn't have a lot of money in college. In college, you don't have a lot of money, but that check every month that I got, oh man, it helped out. It helped me. So, when you get disabled, disability is a part of it. You can be paid. Your sibling or your dependents can be paid from that if that happens. So that's another good thing about Social Security. It's really a good thing for the country and for the people and all. And I don't understand how, if you're paying into, well, say for instance, what you guys are paying into now, that's getting paid to us.
Yeah.
And so forth and so on. So I paid for somebody's retirement and until they passed on or whatever, and that's how it works, And I don't understand how that can be dissolved because if you keep the same formula, what makes it dissolve?
Right.
Unless people are taken from it, and which they did, they borrowed some money from Social
Yeah.
Security because it had so much money in it.
Yeah, it was a big old chest. Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, so two different points, right? So, and just to clarify, is that Social Security pays out 3 different types of entitlements, quote unquote, right? So you got Social Security retirement, which you pay into, and then once you reach the retirement age, you are able to draw funds from it.
Right.
So that's SSRI, right? Social Security Retirement Income.
Yes.
Then there's SSDI, which is Social Security Disability Income.
Yes.
So that is that if you reach a disability where you're not able to work day to day, full time job,
And you have put into the
right, and
program.
you put into the program. You do have to pay into that
Right.
system as well.
Yes.
That you will get disability, and it will be dependent on how much you paid into the system.
Right.
And you have to have a doctor sign off to say that you can't you are not able to work.
work,
So
right.
such conditions is like maybe you're on an oxygen tank. Obviously, you can't work full time.
Right.
Likely, you
Yeah.
could maybe sit up there at Walmart or somewhere. But you could not work full time. The last one is for the poor, right?
Yes.
The last one is SSI. and that is social supplemental income. And so that's what most people who are very poor and who have a disability and they were not able to pay into the system to reach that point to where they're getting Social Security retirement or disability, then they get the bare minimum, social SSI.
Which is what your Aunt Harriet gets.
So right, so SSI pays you the bare minimum, and it's dependent upon locality or where you live. Right now in Los Angeles, the local rate is about $1,130 a month that you'll receive. Maybe you can receive some other benefits like food stamps, or other things like that. But they'll take away from your food stamps depending on how much you get. So it is a safety net for us, and that's usually sometimes when different kinds of politicians they talk about taking money, they don't want to pay. They don't want to. They just don't want to pay out to people, and then they want to bring things such as means testing, which is to say like, well, maybe you have a 401k, or maybe you have these other things that you also have. Let's see how much that is, so that we don't have to pay you the full amount. Like you don't need all this money. You got enough. So yeah.
Yeah, they always come up with some kind of idea how to take the money from you that you work for. But I mean, it's something really good, because if you work all that time and you get to an age where you can't work as good as you used to work, then you should retire. You should move out of the way so somebody else can do that job.
Right.
And do it more efficiently,
Well, and that's where we were talking about how it became so convoluted, because when the retirement age was set at 55, the idea was that another generation was coming in so that I can move out of the way, they can start paying into the system for me to receive those benefits, and that progression will continue. It's not until someone feels like I want more. That's too much. That's just too much money sitting there idle, that they wanted to dip their hands into it, and
they want to use the money for something else.
yes.
And that's what the money wasn't. It was supposed to be. It was started to do what it does, and it shouldn't be changed. It should continually do what it does, because it's helped a lot of people over the years to live a long. I mean, when you get to a certain age, there's certain things you just don't want to do no more.
Yeah.
You don't want to get up and go to work no more. You don't want to do it because you've done it so long, and you want to do something else. It's not so much that you're lazy or you just want to get paid. No, you want to do something else with your life. You don't want to just go to work. You want to figure something out. You do something that you enjoy doing. Your life is, And another thing is the money goes all the way until you pass on. When you start that, it continually goes. It's like an annuity. It doesn't stop. It comes every month.
Well, then you have to consider too the longevity of males and females was not as high as it is
Yes,
now.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
So
part.
you have to
That's a good
remember
point.
that people were dying much younger,
Yeah.
so that the benefits were not having to be paid out. But then you also have the group that decides that, well, I just don't want to work. So now or either you want to keep working, so there's not space enough for another generation to come in. And it just so many dynamics that has caused the system that was a great program designed to work, that somebody doesn't want to work anymore.
The politicians, they want that money. They want to do something else with it. They say it's an entitlement. It's not an entitlement. So let's don't call it an entitlement anymore. It's something that we work for. We work
Insurance.
for.
Yeah. It's insurance.
It's insurance, yeah.
Well, but then
yeah.
it's also a program, like Darren had mentioned, for those who become disabled, and also for those who may be disabled. Say you have a disabled child. Okay,
Right.
children cannot work, but they are entitled to the SSI because the parent has to
Support them.
support that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that child.
Yeah.
That's
That's
excellent
some good
point.
stuff. That is
Yeah.
some good stuff. Okay, so our next question is, what did you hope for in retirement? What were some of your goals after retirement?
Some of my goals is to number one, spend more time with family, to be supportive of my children and their children, which is my grandchildren, and now one great grandchild, but to be be more supportive of things that, let me back it up a little bit, support children, because that's something that's very dear to my heart. And if we don't raise our children right or have them on the right path, we're all going to be lost, because they're going to have to be the ones to help take care of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the challenges that they have, I want to figure out a way to make them feel safe, to make them feel comfortable, safe enough to share what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they want to do in life, and be supportive, because they're, hey, they have to take care of the Social Security age generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
And
that? What was the question?
What did you hope for in retirement? Like,
Well, I just really, like I said before, I wasn't really hoping for a lot when I retired because I never thought about retirement until a couple of years ago. But uh, what I thought was, to do something different, to do something that I wanted to do or something other than I was doing. I did my job that I did. I did it a long time. Did it, uh, and I did it well. I think I did the best of my ability as what I was taught. But it's still things I want to do. I want to do some other things that I can be useful with. And I do want to help people. I mean, I want to do some stuff with church. And be more involved with things, and I want to go back to school. I want to do some schooling. I want to learn some more. I'm not finished.
well, that is lovely to hear. I know we have our family business, Oliver Enterprises, so that is just to, talk about the things that our parents are getting into after retirement. My mom, or our mother,
my mom.
she has her cake business, these sweet treats, um, and she bakes. She loves that's something that she loves to do. So I know she's excited about that.
Yes, I'm looking forward to spending more time doing that and teaching some others to enjoy some of the things they're passionate about, to learn how to channel your energies and your talents and skills in the right way. Because it is, unfortunately, for the generation coming up, it is a very real possibility, like your dad was saying, that
They won't
Social
get it.
Security may not be there. So
Yeah.
just trying to encourage and empower them to find ways to be self-sufficient,
Yeah.
because that old typical good government job is not going to be that same model as it was when 25, 30 years ago.
Well, also because of the pension, they're no longer offering pensions. I remember when I went back to UCLA after I graduated, that was like maybe 2 years after that, they said newly employed individuals are not going to receive the pension that I received. But because I had worked there before, and then when I returned, I had like literally, if I came in 1 or 2 years later, I would not have had the pension that I have just working for the UC system. So I feel like I got lucky.
Yes, blessed.
Yeah.
Right. And then our dad, he's very good with, anything that is construction. He is a
I'm a
carpenter.
plumber,
A
carpenter,
plumber, yes.
electrician.
He does
There's a
all
lot of
those
different
things.
trades.
Yes.
Different trades. Like a
Different trades.
general contractor.
Yes. So he's good at consulting and delegating and, you know, telling people what to do.
Yeah, that's what I did the best.
Okay, so next question. How does it feel to be retired 6 months in? Because you guys retired at the
You
end
know
of
what?
December.
It feels really, really good. It's a really good feeling. I mean, I just love it.
I know you always tell me it's
I,
good to just wake up and not have to
well,
go to
I
work
still
and do
wake
what
up.
I
I
want to
still
do.
wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, you do.
But you know, I don't have to get up.
Right.
I mill around and mess around and I wait for your mama to wake up. You know. I try not to make too much noise so I don't wake her up too early. But it's just so. Oh man, it's a blessing. Lord, thank you, Father.
And
That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
it's wonderful to wake up after I'm finished sleeping.
That's another blessing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
literally.
yes. That is a blessing. I think I already mentioned this question. What are your goals in retirement? Um, I think you guys already answered that though.
Right. And then also just to continue empowering our family business to be a legacy and to, just be able to be financially able to be a support and help to those that I want to.
Your grandfather, Joe Oliver, he had this idea so long ago. We started out and then we had started out with a corporation with the bigger family, not just us as a family, just not our
Our
family, but
extended family.
our extended family was involved in it, and it didn't work out. But the idea that he had was a great idea, and I just think that for our family, this is going to be uh, sort of like a legacy, Oliver Enterprises. I'm looking for, just think 40 years from now what Oliver Enterprises could be. And our family can be the head of it. The grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, something for them to do, something for them to be a part of. And it's a heritage, basically.
Nice. That is great. To that you pointed out, Granddaddy and his idea, and I'm sure he is.
Well, I always say this: we are standing on shoulders.
Yes.
We are standing on shoulders. We didn't. Nobody gets anywhere by themselves.
Right.
Everybody has has been helped from somebody, and so we can never sit up here and well, I did this and I did that. It's not I. It's us. It's all of us. This is our company. This is our corporation. This is for us. And you never know. You never know what can happen when you start something, and years from now, what it turns out to be.
Yeah.
And that's why that's why we're doing this, basically.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, next question. Did you guys have any friends who did not make it to retirement?
I did. I had several friends who I worked with that passed away prior to being able to retire and enjoy those benefits. And there are many, many people that continue to work because they don't know anything else. They don't have family, or they just feel like they don't know anything else to do. So they continue to work. And then that's another reason why I don't understand how the Social Security system cannot continue to thrive, because there's tons of money in the pot
Right.
from those people who contributed to the system,
Never
did
never
not
collect.
have any dependents, and never collected. So they think those people don't exist, but they do. So that whole story about, oh, it's just, it's too much and too many people are living longer, too many people are getting paid out, they can figure it out another way on their own. But I did have, yeah, several friends that passed away prior to being
That's
able to retire.
that's why you got to vote. We always people that say I'm not voting. It's really asinine. It's crazy for you not to vote. Your vote, your local vote, is more important than the national vote.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what's going on here is what's affecting you. So I mean, every time it's time to vote, man, I go vote. I don't care what I'm doing, whatever. It's not been a time that I can remember not voting. Every time I go, and that's what I instilled in you guys as my children. We got to go vote. We go vote. We vote. And so voting is very important to our society. We got problems, so we gotta see to them that the right people get in office to do the right things for the people, not for self.
Personal gain.
That's the problem with even a corporation. A corporation is a corporation is the people. No, corporation is a corporation. It's about single family or whatever family that started it. But when you dealing with a society, you gotta think about the people and what they want and what's best for the people, not because it's all about greed. People are greedy nowadays.
Yeah.
Very greedy. I wanted to ask a quick question, like follow up. So, if you put in your will that can you like gift your Social Security in your will, or like
Nope.
it's not possible?
No.
Dang, all that
However,
money.
the survivor.
Pension.
Okay, so your pension can go to your dependents, or you could have
That's
in
not
your
going
will.
to be something I believe that the next generation will even have to worry about, pension. But there is survivor.
Don't worry.
That's messed up.
Don't even worry about
That's
pension. You ain't gonna get it.
Right.
So
That's messed
survivorship,
up.
your spouse can
Collect your pension.
Social security,
As long as
Security.
but
okay.
it will be a reduced amount, more than likely, if you're
Oh.
receiving it as well. So
Okay.
there's tricks to that little.
But everything ends at 100. Remember that. When you get 100
Okay.
years old, everything's.
Everything ends except
If you
for,
haven't got it by then, you're not getting. You're
Oh.
not gonna get anything after 100 years old.
That's what it says in the Social Security
That's
handbook.
What? Because they know that it's
Period.
not that. I mean, people are
Likelihood.
living in past 100 nowadays,
Right. Yeah.
Very,
but
very few, but yeah.
very few. But
You better hope you have kids
right,
or
Yeah.
a benevolent society.
or okay.
Just remember that this goes on until you pass on. Social Security is a good thing. It's like an annuity insurance. It's something that you're going to continue to get. That figure, and that figure can change. Can go. Most of the time, it goes up. Very rarely. Until you put some more stuff on it, very rarely goes down. But it goes up with I guess COLA.
Yeah, well, it goes up with the cost of living. Yeah, cost of living adjustments, which happen, as inflation rises, or even for your locality. For Los Angeles, it's a higher cost of living adjustment than us, than those who are living in, say, Tupelo, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Does that really exist? Tupelo, Mississippi?
That's
Is
a
there a
city.
Yes.
Tupelo. Oh, Lord.
It's a city,
It's
sister.
a city, sister.
Oh, Daisy, you don't even know that joke.
That's a Richard Pryor joke. Man. You gotta know Richard Pryor to know that joke.
I don't.
Maybe
Oh,
a
no,
brother will let you listen to one of the albums.
What's the other one? P.O.
Illinois.
But yeah. So I think it is it is one of those things that is a benefit. But if you don't have it, then you don't have it. And they are trying to. I think that's what I was trying to get to is that they are. I mean, that's where the means testing comes in because they want to reduce the amount that some people who, maybe you have that multi-generational wealth. Or say for instance, you're a wealthy guy and you're in your 70s and your father passes away, who's in their 90s or whatever, and they have a bunch of money, and say for instance the estate tax goes to you, they're gonna want to say like, hey, wait a second, you got all this money, instead of getting that $6,000-7,000 a month. Maybe you just need 3. Couldn't you do with just 3, Jim? And
Yeah.
so that's the question, because that's what they wanted. They want to bring means testing to it, so that any kind of senior who's getting it, they have to turn in their income, or they have to report their income taxes, and then the IRS will figure out, all this other kind of
How
stuff.
much money they get. Well, you mentioned some key terms, Darren, because I teach at LBCC, and I asked the students. I said, "Do you guys know what generational wealth is?" They were like,
No.
"Do you know what social
not.
mobility is?"
No.
So I had to literally define it. I had them look up the terms, the vocabulary, and I had to break it down. These are students, by the way, who are on academic probation,
Oh.
subject to dismissal, or about to get kicked out of the school.
So they need that.
They definitely.
So I
need
was
it.
like, wow, you don't realize that your education, just even having your associate's degree, automatically sets you up to get paid more over your lifetime. So it's worth it to make that investment
Yeah.
in school. And they were like, yeah, but my financial aid. I'm like, financial aid only lasts for 6 years. They don't have like any.
Oh, they just think about the refund check, huh?
Yes. So I'm
They
like,
focus on the wrong things.
Mommy, so what you were saying, like how that you're concerned about young people and the younger generations, and I'm teaching this class, and some students are like older than me. Some students are like in their 40s and 50s on academic probation, don't know what social mobility or generational wealth
Trust me,
is.
it is ignorance is bliss. You,
Oh,
you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And until somebody lets you know that there's more out there. So I definitely encourage us all to do that, because each one has to teach one.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, Devin, can I ask your last question?
Yeah, I was gonna tell you to ask it.
Because this is the last question that we have here, is something that I wanted this question specifically for both of you, because, hey, look, this is honest. Hey, we're all family here. I do want to point out that as you both approached retirement, I noticed myself, is that you both, and we didn't have a party for you all. There wasn't no big celebration.
We will.
I know, but I know for you guys, your teams, you guys did things, but it wasn't a big occasion like I was used to with other people, with other elder boomers, or even before boomers, where it was just this big, grand thing, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I noticed as well that you both were pretty low-key about it, because
Very
at the
low-key.
end of it, you guys were both like, hey, look, this job, hey, it took a lot out of both of you all to have that commitment, and both of you guys hardly ever called out sick. You guys you guys took your vacation, but you guys both were leaders. You guys were supervisors, managers in your field. You guys were running departments, for the post office, for the school district, making sure stuff got done. They needed you, right? Or you are a presence that has been missed. So if someone were to ask you, maybe not me, but if anyone were to ask you, what is your professional legacy for where you worked, what would you say? What is your legacy that you left?
I would say my legacy, okay, let me find the right word, was unity. Because I made everyone feel like we all needed each other. No one was any better. You had junior people, you had senior people, and the typical kind of dynamic was that, the scrubs get the worst of what, you get the lowest pay, so you get the worst jobs. And I did not tolerate that. That's the one thing. I still stay connected with most of my employees. And the one thing they say is, nobody treats us the way you treated us. You treated us like human beings. So my legacy is that everyone was important. Everyone had a role. Everyone had value. So I would say that was my legacy, that I made everyone feel valued. Because one thing for sure, and I know this just from all my years of working, the worst performers were the ones who showed up every day.
Yeah.
Some of my best workers had attendance problems. So I had to kind of figure out, hey, this is not right. And one of the reasons is that because the ones that had poor attendance didn't feel valued, when I changed that, now you have a better environment. So I would say that's value would be the legacy that human value.
Oh, that's amazing, mommy.
I
That's amazing.
know. That's amazing.
I know she always got the best Christmas gifts
Right?
from her
Okay,
employees. I'm like,
listen, every Christmas, birthday, or something, she was always bringing back a scarf.
right.
Something. Her employees were mostly like Asian,
Expensive stuff
so
too.
it would be like stuff from out of the country, like
right.
from
yeah.
the Philippines or somewhere, like.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that warms my.
That's awesome.
Well, as far as my job, I think would be hard work. I mean, the whole thing was I was trying to lead by an example. I didn't. I took on a lot of different jobs that other people didn't want to do. Which probably I was told by a few people that you messed it up. You messed it up. But I came to work to work. I didn't come to work to mess around. When I gave my word that when I got that job, when I first got that job, I promised them that I would be a good employee. I would come to work and I would do my job. And I tried to. My whole thing was, if you do your job and not worry about somebody else's job, then things will be better for everyone. Because a lot of people come to work and they worry about what somebody else is doing instead of doing what they're supposed to be doing. So the legacy that I think I left would be hard work. I was always try to be a team player because we had to do it together. Any job that we did, project, whatever it was, it had to be done together. Everybody had to put their, and if you didn't show up to work, it meant that somebody else had to do your job. So it was. That's why I always went to work. I had to go to work. I was the leader, and you know what? If you're the leader, you gotta be the leader, and you can't be sometimey about being a leader. You gotta be the leader. You gotta do what you say. Can't be lying. You can't be cheating. You can't be stealing. You got to do and treat people like you want to be treated. That's the whole thing, key to being a good supervisor. Because everybody's watching you. Believe me, everybody's waiting for you to do something that they can say, "Ooh, look at what he did," and he's supposed to be the supervisor. Sort of like being a Christian. Oh, he's supposed to be a Christian. Oh my goodness, what? But the whole thing about it is, being legacy is what you leave behind. So now, I haven't been over to the shop too many times since I retired. I haven't just when I show up, it's just like, oh, here's Greg. Oh, everybody wants to see what's going on with me. Kind of stop traffic. But I mean, it's not my job no more, so I don't go over there. If somebody wants to talk to me, come stop by the house. If you got to talk to me that much, you go stop in front of the house, because they drive down the street all the time. So I can talk to anybody at any time I meet for lunch or breakfast, whatever. But everybody says that, hey, when are you gonna come back? And you coming back? You coming back? I might go back. I might go back and help, but it's going to be on my terms.
That's good.
Wow.
Well, that was very
Informative.
Yes, thanks, Davey. But that I'm happy to say that our parents lived long enough to experience
Retirement. Yay!
Yay. Round of applause for that.
Round of applause.
And this is their special episode dedicated to you
Yes. We love you guys.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Happy to be a guest.
Any final comments,
Yes,
words
any
of
final
wisdom?
Just do your homework, do your research, and be supportive of some of the programs that there were way more than Social Security that FDR started as a great benefit to the country. So just continue to do what you do and help people.
My last word would be, in all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Amen.
All right, you guys. Have a great week. And we're out.
Bye.
Am I wrong to assume if she can't dance, then she can't ooh? Yeah.